We're going to talk strictly about tomatoes, okay? So this video is going to be based on tomatoes and what I have tested, what I have done, and what we have found out in our neck of the woods, which would be in our area, which is area 8 now. It used to be 7, now it's 8. And what works and what doesn't work, and what's the better tomatoes and what's the not so great tomatoes. So we have a Facebook page. If you'd like to, go check that out. It's Swisher Family Farm on our Facebook. Let's talk tomatoes, man. I love tomatoes. I am a tomato guy. I would have a tomato every night if I could have the tomatoes I want. And being in the restaurant business, I learned a lot about product, and you know, most of the product that we were getting in, we tried to get as fresh as possible. I could get it during tomato season, and then I wouldn't be able to get anything. I'd have to deal with a purveyor. Now, the unfortunate thing with purveyors is, and now I'm a chef for 34 years, the thing with purveyors is that they buy tomatoes that aren't ripe yet, and what they do is they stick them in a semi-trailer and they gas the tomatoes to make them ripen quicker. Now, when you get a tomato at the grocery stores do a similar thing too. They'll get a tomato, and you go and grab a tomato, and you grab it, and it's all hard, and it's like a rock, but it's red, but it's not brilliant red. It's like almost an orange color, light orange. That's not a real tomato. I mean, it's a real tomato, but it's not a real organic tomato in a sense. Now, since I've come onto the farm, and we've been here now going on 5 or 4 years, we have tested different tomatoes. We've tried different tomatoes. We've tried your basics, your early girls, your beef steaks. We've tried your Roma's tomatoes. I've tried Oxheart tomatoes, Cherokee tomatoes. I've tried a lot of tomatoes, all right? Top 3 tomatoes I'm going to tell you about right now that are useful in every stage of what you need a tomato for. Eating, roasting, canning, and just eating them right off the plant, which is what I do. It's a downfall with me. So let's start with what doesn't work. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you out there are probably Cherokee Purple fanatics and love the tomato and this and that. You know, I'm not really impressed with the bountiful harvest that you would get from a Cherokee tomato plant and the time that I put into it. Last year I had a total of 6 planted. I got maybe 12 really nice sized tomatoes. Most of it were just fail safe. They were real small. They weren't bigger than a size of a baseball. I mean, and they weren't that great in salads, and the flavor profile was just not there. I'm always looking for an excellent flavor profile when I'm eating a tomato. I want to taste it. I want to know what you're getting. So we tried those. We also tried Oxhearts. Now, don't get me wrong, Oxhearts are good tomatoes. I like Oxhearts, but I am not going to put them up there in the top 3. They're good for a sandwich, like tomato sandwiches, or they're good to make like, I don't want to say tomato sauce, but a tomato juice if you want to. I mean, they're okay, but they taste good. They have a good tomato flavor. You get a lot of them. I think we had 8 plants, and I got 76 tomatoes off of 8 plants. Another one that we tried was what was it? Like a hybrid of an early girl. I wasn't impressed. It was something that I didn't plant. It's something that we just thought last minute, let's see what it does, because we're testing what we want to do on our farm /homestead. And it really didn't produce. It really didn't do anything. I was really disappointed in it. It may have been because I bought it from Lowe's, or it could have been just the tomato plant itself. It just wasn't producing. Now, I'm going to try 2 other new ones this year, and I'll tell you how those work out through prior videos as I go through the tomato situation. But let's talk about what worked. All right. Now, as most of you probably already know, San Marzano's is the tomatoes. I'll argue tooth and nail. San Marzano tomatoes are an everything tomato. They're a salad tomato, they're a roasting tomato, they're a sauce tomato. They taste good just picking them off the plant. They have a nice sweet taste to them. They cook really good. Their skin's not hard. I mean, they're unbelievable. So I choose to plant San Marzano. I got some of these starters right here, as you can see. This is San Marzano right here. It's doing pretty good. It's getting there. We got 74 of these that we're planting this year. 74. So imagine how many jars of sauce. Let's talk about the production of it, right? So, the San Marzano plant, out of 8 plants, I got 16 jars of sauce off of 8 plants. Not including the ones we were eating off the plant too. I was probably eating San Marzano tomatoes every single day for 2 months. And I'm talking about 3 or 4 tomatoes. I love tomatoes. Tomato nut. But yeah, so we got that. Sorry, I got a little itch right there. So we got that, and I did the San Marzanos, and we tested it out. I've grilled them, I've sauteed them, I've made sauce out of them. We've thrown them in salads. They've been great for everything. I mean, really great for everything. Now, number 2, Romas. Romas are another form of sauce, a sauce tomato or a salad tomato. I didn't really use aromas for the sauce. I use aromas for salads, salsa, pico de gallo. That's pretty much it, you know. A few salads. We threw it in for a few salads because we had an overabundance of them. And they did really, really well. They really did do well. So I would say San Marzanos would be a number 2. All right. Now we're going to get into a little bit different thing. Is going with a tomato for a salad. Like your basic cherry tomatoes, right? Well, this last year we had planted 3 plants of these. They're called sweet cherry tomatoes. And let me tell you, those things were great too. They were so sweet. I mean, seriously, it was almost like taking and putting sugar on a tomato and eating it. They were that sweet. They were good in salads. Amy would take them and cut them up and put them with cottage cheese. We'd throw them in salads. There are so many uses that we use that for, because we didn't want to use a lot of the San Marzanos because those were for sauce base for a test run. The sweet cherry tomatoes, they were off the chain. They were just off the chain. They worked really good. They grew really good. I want to talk about production. Holy cow. 3 plants gave us more than enough tomatoes for me, Amy, my parents. And I even gave some tomatoes away to people so they could have them, because I didn't want them to go to waste. So if you want the 3 top tomatoes that I've tested so far that I am faithful with and that I will always grow, would be number 1, San Marzanos. Number 2, the sweet cherry tomatoes. And number 3, your Romas. Those are the top 3 that I use here on our farm for our consumption. I like it because I know how to grow it. I also know what's going into it, and I also know what I've done to it. Another big problem is when you get stuff from the grocery store, you don't know what chemicals have been put on it. You don't know what they've been sprayed with. And you're ingesting this stuff, putting it in your system. Now, don't get me wrong. I consumed all this crap, should I say, from the grocery stores and everything, not using my brain and saying, hey, look, you know, what are you consuming? What are you putting in? It was a trust factor. I'll tell you what, I don't trust grocery stores at all anymore. I don't trust anybody but myself with my food, because I know what goes into it. So, today's whole discussion was about tomatoes, my top 3, and how I feel and what the production rate was. It was overwhelming. It was fantastic. I was super happy, and I have no complaints. I have no complaints. This year, the tomatoes we're planting, the cherries, the San Marzanos, the Romas. I got some original beefsteak tomatoes And what else are we planting? I think it's called a Wonder tomato. I'll show you that here in a couple of months when we get the tomatoes up there and you can start to see them. But it's supposed to be a really good tomato. So we'll see how that goes. We got them planted. As you know, I'm in the greenhouse now. You can see all the junk behind me. I got to get this greenhouse cleaned up. You know, we just come in here and it's like a drop area. Well, we're not using it. Just put it in the greenhouse. We'll get to it later. You know, and I keep doing that. And now I got myself a pretty big mess. I got to get in here. I got to organize. I got to coordinate. I got to get myself set up so we can be ready to do what we need to do. At that note, guys, I do apologize about the time. I do apologize about not making as many videos or getting videos up. We have a lot of stuff going on at the farm now. So please hit that subscribe button, that like button. And you know, that thumbs up's important because that really puts the analytics out there. So if you just take a second to push that, that'd be awesome. And if you're here for the first time, hit the subscribe button. Welcome to the family. This is Swisher Family Farm. Until next time, guys, God bless and take it easy.